In this video, I'm proud to introduce the Xamarin Community Toolkit. So, viewer, Community Toolkit, viewer. Come on. So nice to meet you. Very well done. Let's go see what it's all about. So the Xamarin Community Toolkit is going to be a bridge basically between Xamarin.Forms 5 and .NET MAUI. Xamarin.Forms 5 is going to be, in maintenance mode mostly. The team has done a great job on making this the most stable, most awesome version available. But a couple of things happen. So first, all the experimental features have moved out because Xamarin.Forms 5 is going to be the last version of Xamarin.Forms as we know it. I've made a couple of videos answering some questions, so they might pop up in your screen right now. Go check it out for a little bit of background information. But Xamarin.Forms 5 is going to be the last version as we know it. So it would be weird to have experimental features in there that would be experimental forever, right? And some of them just weren't stable enough yet. So they took them out, and to get them home, we came up with the Xamarin Community Toolkit. So all the experimental features, which is the media element, the camera view, the C# markup extensions, and the expander, they were all taken out of Xamarin.Forms 5, and they now live in the Xamarin Community Toolkit. Transitioning should be pretty easy. Just change that namespace, remove the experimental flag, and that should be it mostly. So that should be no hassle at all. We've made it that for you as easy as possible. So that is very cool first. But we tried to do another thing. So it's the Community Toolkit. So we tried to gather all those libraries that you might be using. We're trying to see if we can help maintainers and give them the opportunity to donate their nice controls to us. So we can lighten the load on them maintaining it. So we have more of a team behind it. This is a package backed by Microsoft, so that is very cool. But not just that. Do you know about the converters, the behaviors, the effects, maybe some animations that you're small enough to not create your own library out of it, so you just keep copying it from one project to another? We want to be done with that. So we want to have like all the behaviors to validate email controls, maybe that event to command behavior. It's also always a touchy subject, that one, and all kinds of converters and things. We want to gather those, aggregate those in this community toolkit so that you can just, you install in your Xamarin project, you install Xamarin.Forms, Xamarin Essentials, and now the Xamarin Community Toolkit. We aim to be that third project that's going to be standard in all the projects. That's what we want to do. Now, there's community in this community toolkit, so we really want this to be about you. What do you want to see in here? And not just that, we also want your help. We want you to contribute. So this will be a project that is a little bit lower threshold than like the Xamarin.Forms, and than with Xamarin.Forms, because that is a big, huge, maybe some daunting project to begin with. So this is a smaller project. We are very much open to contributing. The pace is not that high because our team is small. It's something that we do on the side. It's something that we do in our spare time. So it's not going to be as fast or demanding as Xamarin.Forms. And it's really for you to make your first steps maybe into contributing to a bigger open source project. So that is definitely something that I want to do. There is some documentation in there. We'll see that in a little bit. It's probably not complete. And also, if you need something, please reach out to me. I will make sure to help you get started. And also in the process, find out what is the pieces that we're missing from documentation for you starting yourself, so that the next people wanting to start don't need to ask me or anyone else. I'm glad to help, but of course, if they can start themselves by just reading some documentation and then get going, that is even better. So what I was talking about, Xamarin.Forms 5 and then .NET MAUI. .NET MAUI is a little bit into the future for us. So, between Xamarin.Forms 5 not getting any bigger features and .NET MAUI still being in the future, we aim to be the package that bridges that gap. So we don't just have those converters that you keep copying, and we don't just want to get the controls out of the community there and package them into one library. We have complete new control. So we have the camera view, which has been sitting in a PR for Xamarin.Forms, and we just took it, made it stable-ish, hopefully, and we put it in there. So a camera view is there for you to use. We have an avatar view, so complete new controls are coming in. We have the tab bar. Everyone is waiting for the tab bar, which allows you to create custom tabs, fully customizable tab bar in the bottom of that application. Will look the same on Android and iOS. You can have that big button in the middle, or you can put it to the side. You can slide through the different tabs. It's an amazing control. So go check that out. And there is much, much more coming. So actually, let's just stop talking about it and let's have an actual look at what is going on with the Xamarin Community Toolkit. So this is where all the code lives. This is the Xamarin Community Toolkit repository on GitHub. So you can go to github.com/Xamarin Community Toolkit, and that is where all this stuff is. So if we scroll down here a little bit, then we can see the README with a lot of useful information, of course. So a little bit about what it is. We've already heard about that, and we're going to see that in a little bit as well. You can see a little bit about the build status, what we're doing on NuGet. So you can get the NuGet package on the official NuGet.org, of course, through your little management window on your project or through the command line. But we also have a nightly feed. So whenever changes are pushed one day, then the next day they will be on that nightly feed, so you can go and be on the cutting edge, trying out all those new features, see if that bug is fixed. So that is really, really cool. Now, to get started, it's actually really, really easy because you just put in this package into your project, and then you can, if you're using XAML, then you can just add this as a namespace. So here you can see how that works on the root node. So we've adopted kind of this XML namespace kind of URL thing instead of having to implement all the namespaces of the different controls and stuff all separately. So you can just insert this one thing into your page or whatever, and then automatically all namespaces are combined in that thing, and you can reach them all with just using XCT, and then do the avatar view, the camera view, the behaviors, all the things through that one namespace. Now, if you're in code, you can just use the namespaces as they are, so no hassle there. You can just do that, but this is just a little shorthand notation, so you don't have to riddle all your XAML with all these different namespaces, so that is really cool. Documentation, I'll get to that in a little bit, so we're going to skip that for now. Contributions welcome, so like I mentioned already, you can contribute to this community toolkit because it's the community toolkit. So we'll be happy to take any contributions. That can be reviews of PRs, opening issues, triaging these issues, contributing actual code, contributing to the docs, everything that helps us get this toolkit to move along further, make it even better. That's a contribution. So we have some documentation on that. I'm sure it's not complete, it's not clear in all the areas. So if you find something, that's also a contribution in itself. Contribute to somewhere where it makes more sense. So, update those docs as well, or at least open an issue or a discussion. We also have the discussions enabled on GitHub, and let us know how we can do better. And that is something that we really want to do because I want to help you help us. So I have one thing I want to show you, some information on the wiki. So let's actually open that one. There we go. And this is one thing I set up. So I don't know if this is useful. I think it is, where I have scenario based, like I'm a first time contributor. What should I know? I have a great idea for a feature. What should I do? I've opened a PR. What can I expect? So kind of like these scenario based things, what to expect when something's going to happen. Again, this is a work in progress, so there's not everything is in here. If something's not clear, whatever, update it yourself. Well, you don't have access to the wiki probably, and you cannot make PRs. So open an issue for that, and I will try to make it better. So let's switch back to the actual repository. And here you can see a little bit more about all the namespaces. So these are all the namespaces in there. It's grown pretty nicely. So we have the behaviors, the converters, the effects, a couple of extensions to support XAML, and the views, which is mostly the controls. And of course, we have a little sample app. Code of conduct, also very important, so be sure to check out how to behave with the issues, and don't make any mistakes with that, so that's really cool. So if we scroll all the way back up to the code, everything lives here in the src folder, so the source, and the sample is in the samples right here. I'm not going to walk you through all of this right now. Let's just open up the sample app and let's have a little bit of a look there. So here on the left, you can see the Visual Studio for Mac running the sample app that is included in the Xamarin Community Toolkit. You can see it running on the right in the iOS simulator in this case. Of course, it also runs on Android and basically all the platforms that you're seeing here. So Android, GDK, iOS, Tizen, UWP, WPF. We are trying to also target all the platforms that Xamarin.Forms is doing as well. Mind you that not all features are supported on all platforms. Of course, if you are an expert on one of the platforms that is a bit left behind, please feel free to contribute whatever you can. So that is really cool. So here on the left, we also have basically the project structure. This solution with the sample is living in the samples folder in the root of the repository, so that's where you can find it. It has references to the actual Xamarin.CommunityToolkit, also the Xamarin.CommunityToolkit.markup, which is the C# for UI extensions that lived in Xamarin.Forms before under the experimental flag, but they had to move out, and now it's a separate package of the Xamarin Community Toolkit. Then we have the sample here, that is the shared project, so this is actually most of our app, and then this is the Android, GDK, iOS heads of all the platforms that you can run. And if we go in here in Xamarin Community Toolkit.sample, you can see here our app XAML. We have some view models, we have pages, we have models. So this follows kind of the MVVM structure. There's a lot in here. So if we go into the pages, for instance, you can see it's divided up in behaviors, converters. So basically all the categories, the views, also the markup. So you can use this sample to run it and inspect like what does this feature even do? What does it look like? Is it useful for my use case? Or you can, go in, look at the code and copy and paste whatever we have there to take that for inspiration. Use it as a shorthand if you don't like typing. Copy it into your project and just use it. So that is pretty cool. I'll walk you through it while running it here on the right in a little bit. But first, let's have a look at the Xamarin Community Toolkit project as well. So here you can see also divided up in a couple of things, behaviors. So this is where all the behaviors live. You can see the event to command, implied order, masked behavior, a couple of others. And if there's more than one file involved, then we are sticking them into a folder. So we have some things with animations, we have the validators, and also this is the same for all the other things. So all the converters are here. Those are a lot. You can see them here. And the views. So the views here, you will see a couple of more folders because all the views will have also renderers per platform. So here you can see the avatar view, camera view. So you can see it's divided up nicely, so it should be pretty easy to find all the things that you need. So browse through it, see how we're doing. If you can see something that we can improve, then of course let us know or fix it yourself. We also have tests, so you can run the unit tests or extend those whenever you start contributing. So that is pretty awesome. Now let's have a look here on the right what is going on. So if you run this, you will get this sample app, and you can see here again the same category. So we have the behaviors, converters, effects, all kinds of things. So if we just go into the converters right here, then you will get a list of all the converters. You can search here with the top bar. So let's find a nice one. Here we have the item selected event arcs converter. So this converter does something with the list view whenever an item is selected, and we do commanding. So we take that event of item selected and we push that into a command, but then you also want to take the event arc, so you can click it. In itself, you don't see a lot of things here on the outside, how it's working. So this one is mostly interesting when you look at it from code. I can already spot a bug here. Can you spot the bug as well? Maybe this is a nice chance. I won't fix it myself. This is a nice chance to contribute, to start working with that code. So go find where this is and fix it. But here is all the things, whether they're useful in code or they're useful just running it and looking at what it does. So if we go back, we have the behaviors as well. So we have email validation behavior. This makes that a email should be valid. So if I do this and go out of here, then it's red. And whenever I go in here and I make it an actual email address, then it stays black. So it knows that this is valid. So this is something supported out of the box. Don't make your own logic for this over and over again. Just install this and boom, let's do it. Same thing with URIs, required string, user stop typing. So this one is pretty cool. Here you can do some configuration. So whenever the user stops typing for 1 second, and there should be a minimum length, which is 0 in this case. And whenever we do, so if I type, but when I stop for 1 second, you can see then it triggers a command or an event or probably both, and it will automatically do something. So this is also something that is very handy whenever you do these search results things or have some auto suggest boxes that you don't go, firing events every keystroke, but just wait for that timeout and only then do all the stuff. You can also do a minimum length. So if I do 3, then you should have at least minimum 3 seconds. So now I can wait for 1 second or more, nothing happens. But whenever I have 3, then it will automatically fire it again, but it will also take into account this minimum length right here. So that is also pretty cool. Lots of cool stuff in here as well. But I think what is, most beautiful for everyone is C# markup. That is pretty cool as well. But that is, this whole UI is built up out of code, C# code in a fluent way. So go check that out. It's pretty awesome. But also a lot of views. So we have the avatar view, which can show you like this initials, or when there is an actual avatar, it can show you the actual image. Without, doing anything too fancy. This will work pretty much out of the box. So that is cool. So CameraView is another very cool control. I can show you that on the simulator, but this allows you to, I can go in here, but it doesn't do anything. Here you can see a camera view element. So this would show a preview of your camera. You can switch between front and back. You can do a video or a image. You can use the flash. You can do zoom. You can do a whole bunch of things with the camera view. So that is pretty cool. You can incorporate it anywhere. You can put it behind something and make the top thing a little bit transparent so that you have kind of an overlay over your camera view. So this is very flexible camera view work instead of, the essentials media picker thing is pretty cool, but it uses the native camera view that uses your whole screen. And here you can just add this little camera view element and it will just be a little block or whatever you design it to be. And that is in your application. So that is pretty cool. Gravatar image source, so you can have an image source that takes a gravatar. That is cool. Gravatar.com is a service that allows you to have avatars and that kind of stuff. This makes it really easy to use. The expander is like an accordion thing. Let's just actually check it out. So here we have, you can click this and you can click this and it expands, and you can have them even nested, so you can nest all these things. This is something that used to live in Xamarin.Forms as well as an experimental thing, but now also this has transferred to the Xamarin Community Toolkit, so that is pretty cool to have. Media element, again, something that lived in Xamarin.Forms. You can use that to play video, audio, range slider, so not just select one value, but you can select a range with a whole lot of configuration options that you can set, so that is pretty cool. And there's a lot more in here. So go check that out for yourself because it's just too much to handle for one video. There's going to be more videos handling these controls one by one and the behaviors and everything. Please pause this video for a moment to let me know in the comments which is one that you're very excited about, what is one that you want to see in an upcoming video right now. I'll wait a little minute because you're pausing it, so let me know in the comments. Do it now. So that is our sample app. Here we have the Xamarin Community Toolkit docs. This is the documentation repo, and we've started to work on this as well. It will land on the official docs. It's not there right now. At the time of recording, we are working to get it there very soon, but I can give you a very secret sneak preview of what it's going to look like. So in here, you can contribute to this as well. If you want to know how, please let me know. There is some information here as well, and go check out the pages that are there already. But here you can go to the little preview, and this is something that only Microsoft employees can do. So let me zoom that in for you a little bit. There we go. And this is going to be the Xamarin Community Toolkit docs. So this is going to be very cool, integrated with the actual Microsoft Docs website. So that is very awesome. And we have all the things here. We have a little bit about the setup, getting started. So here you can see, how to add that to your own project. A little bit of instruction here. We have all the behavior. So character validation behavior, no problem. We have a little syntax, a little description, all the properties. We have it right here. To be very honest, at this time, the docs, there are minimal. Because we just want to have you to show what's in the box with a brief description, a little syntax, how to do it, and all the properties. We are looking to expand that. We're also looking for contributors to do that because it's a lot of work and we don't mind working, but we're doing this all in our spare time. So a little bit of help would be very much appreciated. But other than that, just add things that you're missing or open an issue and we will see that we can get to it as soon as possible. Same for the converters, effects, all the things are here, all the things that you can use. The markup, I think that is a very extensive documentation page. So here you go, you can see all the things that are included with the markup. Very, very cool. If this is something that you like, go check this page out. It is super extensive, so this should have all the things that you need to get started with the C# markup extensions. And then the controls, so here we have again the avatar view, the camera view, all the things. Some are a little bit more extensive than others, so this camera view is basically just what it does, a little sample, and all the properties. I will expand that, but a media element, for instance, this one is much more extensive as well. You can play remote media, local media. This has like a very nice description of all the things. So this is a very nice start. Go check it out. Whenever it's live, I will update you through this channel whenever it's live. So be sure to subscribe so I can notify you automatically. For now, if you want to do this, go back to that repo and read it in the markdown files. Again, I'm hoping to launch this very, very soon, but we are not quite there yet. So very sorry about that. That is in a nutshell what Xamarin Community Toolkit is. Now this was a little bit of a high overview because, it was an introduction. So I just tried to touch all the things, give you an overview of what's there, how to get started, where to find things. Like I mentioned already, please let me know in the comments what you want to see first, because I'll be making a ton of content on the Xamarin Community Toolkit, how to use all the APIs. Let me know which one to start with. What is the one you're most excited about? Are you excited at all about this package? And of course, when you're going to contribute, because I'm expecting all of you watchers to contribute in any way, shape, or form. If you like this video, please like it. As always, subscribe to my channel if you're watching this and maybe you're thinking, did I subscribe yet? Go check it. Do it if you haven't already. And I'll be seeing you for my next video. Keep coding.